It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. Starting off with our top story of today, local business owners came together for a great cause recently to exchange gifts to help a local charity and local kids. And our very own Jake Schaff has the full story.
The holiday spirit is alive and well, as just recently West Bloomfield put on their annual Not-So-White Elephant Party right here at Aurora Italiana, bringing together people from all across the community to forge brand new connections, spread some holiday cheer, and to help a very worthy cause.
So this is the Chamber's holiday party. It's the Not-So-White Elephant Party, and what we do is we network. And then we do gifts, and we're going to do raffle gifts, so we're going to pull raffles, and everybody can pick a gift when their number's called, and all the money goes to the charity that we picked for the year, and this year it's Sandcastles. We just thought it was a great charity. We love that they do things for kids and grieving families, and that we help them be happy and get over their sadness. So they're the charity that we picked this year, and so all the money that we raise tonight goes to them. So every ticket is $10, and people can buy extra tickets.
And how great is it to see so many members of the community come out here tonight and support this event and the Chamber?
It is so wonderful. This place is packed. This is our little corner of the world here.
It's been really wonderful. It's been nice for me to be able to connect with other people who are, in this line of work as it pertains to grief. So making a connection with Sandcastles is wonderful. I was able to win this lovely gift this evening. It's really nice to be able to, in the middle of a week, stop and support such a worthy cause. It's amazing. I've met some wonderful people here tonight.
So what made you decide to come out to the event tonight?
I've been a member for 2 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, and I wanted to support the group and this wonderful charity. Without community involvement, a community is nothing but a whole bunch of people sitting at home by themselves. So outings like this really get us out and talking and socializing and interacting with people.
I am very excited. I love being a part of Chamber of Commerce of West Bloomfield. I think we're very dynamic. Giving back to community is the best way we can give, because we take so much from the community as a small business owner or as a resident of West Bloomfield. Just to give back a little bit to the community is the best way to do, especially for the holiday time. I think by doing small things is the best way to give back to community. We don't have to donate $100,000. I mean, yeah, that'll help, but doing our part as a community member, just keeping everything clean and just helping each other, being sane while we're driving, just keeping the whole community safe. That taking one step at a time will help the whole area and the whole community.
Every single person at this party had a happy face and a happy heart, and it's great that the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce continues to put on these great events to benefit the community. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you again for that story, Jake. Great information also in regards to things going on from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, and it's great to see people take pride, residents and business owners, in giving back to the community. We'll keep you updated with things going on with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Now, yesterday was a very busy day for the West Bloomfield Fire Department. A few situations going on specifically. Just before 4 p.m., firefighters and paramedics from our 4 West Bloomfield fire stations responded to a possible structure fire due to a malfunctioning appliance. Now, once the crews did arrive on the scene, they quickly canceled the other responding units who were anticipating approaching this situation. Now, just after 4 p.m., firefighters and paramedics from 5 fire stations responded to a fire in the attic of a home. Occupants smelled smoke, and then they immediately went upstairs and saw fire in their attic. Now, while they did try to put the fire out, they immediately realized they cannot do so and called 911 immediately. And then once 911 respondents showed up, they quickly extinguished the fire. Now, during this fire specifically, other crews responded to 3 other medical emergencies, a carbon monoxide alarm, as well as a lift assist going on. First and foremost, with all of that being said, we would like to take the time out to thank the Waterford Regional Fire Department, as well as the Farmington Hills Fire Department, firefighters and paramedics for their assistance to responding to these emergencies. There were no injuries as a result of these fires, and if you yourself do discover a fire, please immediately call 911 so that the professionals and the authorities can put it out first. With all of that being said, essentially a lot of things going on in the greater West Bloomfield community, including a wild time for some book lovers at West Bloomfield Library. Yesterday, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library hosted a unique event, Reading with a Critter. Families gathered together to read books alongside a few animal ambassadors. A naturalist and a librarian were on hand to guide the fun and creating a very truly wild adventure for these young readers. Kids brought their own book, or of course they went directly to the library and borrowed one from the shelves, sharing stories with snakes and other fascinating creatures. This event was free and held in collaboration with the library, which made it an unforgettable way to inspire love for reading while in learning about wildlife and our young community members. You can find out more and see those pictures yourself on the Facebook page of the library at West Bloom LIB for more information. Speaking of the library, you can help the West Bloomfield Library go virtual. The Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Library are gearing up for another impactful Giving Tuesday campaign, which happened earlier this week. Last year, they raised over $11,000 to launch the library's Play Away audiobook collection for elementary readers. Now, library member Marnie Katz shared, quote, "My 4th grader gets lost in them for hours. It's a great option for reluctant readers," end quote. This year, the Friends are returning with their focus being on virtual reality headsets, VR headsets, aiming to create a new VR collection and expand programs for all ages. These headsets will feature interactive games, virtual tourism, and hands-on learning experiences. You can support this innovative initiative and help the library bring this virtual reality experience to the community. Learn more by going directly to the website westbloomlib.org or go directly to their Facebook as well, West Bloom LIB, for more information regarding that. Speaking of things going on in the West Bloomfield community, there is a great event going on later on this month where we celebrate the winter solstice within West Bloomfield Parks with activities for the family and telescopes guided by the Oakland Astronomy Club. With us right here live on The Splash to give out more details regarding this winter solstice event, we have Parks and Naturalist Supervisor from West Bloomfield Parks, Lauren Azori. Thank you for being here, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start off with the details of this event for anybody watching and listening, anticipating it. Tell us about the winter solstice.
Yeah, the winter solstice is a celebration of the return of the sun. So traditionally, the true winter date, the true astronomical day of winter to come, even though we've had our snow and cold already, is truly December 21st. Right. At West Bloomfield Parks, we put on a celebration on December 19th, and we were celebrating the return of the sun. So December 21st is the real winter solstice, and it's the longest, darkest night of the year. And the next day becomes a little bit lighter, and then the next day a little bit lighter. So we're celebrating all these special things in nature. There's so many cycles in nature, and obviously the sun and moon is a big cycle in nature. So the solstice is basically a celebration of nature and the winter months and the return of more sunshine. So can't go wrong with more sunshine and celebration. So we use fires to celebrate. So we have lots of bonfires and treats. We glow the trail. So it's a really magical.
Oh, some slight technical issues right now. No, perfectly fine. Yeah, we have you right back there, Lauren. But yes, you were just telling us about the activities and things going on at the Winter Solstice event happening December 19th, as a matter of fact. So I just want to kind of get into that. Can you just talk about how the activities that you all will be having, like you explained, the glowing craft station, the marshmallow roasting? How do you feel like that contributes to creating this magical and educational experience for all participants?
We always know that a walk in the night is unique, right? So people really appreciate going on something like that when it's guided. You don't tend to want to go out on a nature trail at night by yourself. So it's a great magical way to explore nature at night within the community or with your family and friends. So the trail is a big highlight. And just being out in nature at night is another part of that. But a huge, huge highlight is also our Oakland Astronomy Club. So they bring telescopes and also lots of knowledge on the night sky so they can tour all the constellations and everything that's unique in the winter sky. Because our sky changes every season, so they always have something new to share.
Yeah. First and foremost, I like that you all are involving the Oakland Astronomy Club because they add a new perspective to it in general. And I also want to go back to what you were saying in regards to the celebration of the sun. I like that perspective. I've always known the winter solstice to be the start of winter, which people associate with snow and cold, and the darkest day of the year. But I like that you're basically saying this is a start when the sun starts to come out a little bit more and more as we continue to progress throughout the winter. So I love that perspective. And with that being said, can you just talk a little bit more about how this event highlights the beauty and importance of nature, specifically during the winter months?
Absolutely. So as you go along the trail, you're going to run into a naturalist in a few different stations and learn something about winter nature ecology. So what's happening with the animals in the wintertime. Some rest all winter long, like many of us humans like or wish we could do all winter. Some are very active in the winter. So we're learning about what's happening outside in nature in the winter as we go along the trail. And with that celebration of the sun, obviously, we really emphasize a lot of light. So along the trail, there's a lot of glowing elements. There's some light installations and some great photo opportunities within the trees and lights combined. And then you might be lucky enough to hear some owls or hear some crunching of feet behind you. So you never really know what you're going to find on the nature trail at night, but it's always magical.
Some crunching of the feet behind me. That sounded, I'm like, oh, okay. We're going to have to watch out for that. But thank goodness.
Not the intention.
Right? Thank goodness we have professionals and educators like yourself from WB Parks and the Oakland Astronomy Club who will be there. And once again, join us right here live on The Splash, by the way, Parks Naturalist Supervisor from West Bloomfield Parks, Lauren Azuri, talking about the Winter Solstice event happening December 19th, by the way. I want to also make sure we highlight the fact that this is an outdoor event. It is happening during winter, so I want you to reiterate the measures that you all are taking to ensure not only accessibility, but safety for participants, especially during a time where, like we said, there could be potential ice and other things involved.
Yeah, so it's a 0.4 mile trail, so you do have to be ready to walk at least that distance for the event. But we do a trail check ahead of time, so we mark any roots that might be sticking up or hiding under the snow. We unfortunately don't have a makeup date, so if we have to cancel because of bad conditions, we just have to wait for next year. But we do definitely look out for those things. The other great thing is we have hiking poles that are able to borrow on a first come, first serve basis. So if you need a little bit more help with your balance or something like that on the trail, hiking poles are available when you check in to head on to the trail. And if you come with a family member and they're just not comfortable out on the trail, there's many other things going on. So we have the fires in the back for marshmallow roasting. The nature room is open to people to come inside and explore the nature room as well. So if you get there and you just are not you're a fair weather fan and can't make it out onto the trail, there's options too. So you can still enjoy some of the magic and not go on the trail if that doesn't work for you as well. But we always do safety checks before events, especially night trail events.
And I'm glad you do. That's why I said I want to take the time to reiterate that for anyone who may have that cross their mind about, certain elements that may be involved. Everything, double check, T's are crossed, I's are dotted with that being said. During the winter and holiday months and times, Lauren, let's be honest. A lot of people aren't necessarily thinking about going outside. They want to make those memories inside, by the tree, at a fireplace, or whatever the case may be. Why is it important for our local families and individuals to engage with these outdoor activities during this time?
Yeah, there's a ton of scientific studies about engaging in nature and how being outdoors can lower your stress. And let's be honest, the holidays can be a stressful time for many. And so being outdoors and getting a breath of fresh air and being in green spaces is a true distressor. And so this is a great way to kind of de-stress and just take a few minutes to take a breath outside and appreciate what's around us.
Yes, yes, I would agree. Just go ahead, bundle up, throw on a coat, scarf, hat, gloves, everything that you're supposed to wear, and just make yourself comfortable, take a walk, and go out there and enjoy the things that our great outdoors has to offer. Lauren, before I let you go, essentially, a couple more things. One, what would you personally hope that participants take away from this event, both memory-wise or just educationally?
Well, I hope that they enjoy spending time outdoors with their families because that's a great tradition to create. Like you said, all of these holiday traditions this time of year, being around a fire or being inside, but it's great to have a family tradition that includes the outdoors as well. So hopefully this inspires people to get outdoors. And this is a great multi-generational event. And we all know that spending time with people that are in our community, young or old, no matter what. So this event attracts many ages. It's a great date night for adults. It's a great family night with kids. There's lots of different options to bring everybody together in the outdoors. So I just think creating community and building memories outside is a great time to do that this year.
Yeah, I like how you snuck in the date night in there too, Lauren. Yeah, great time for that right now. Cuddle season and everything. All right, let's just stop that. But we appreciate your time, Lauren. Once again, for anybody listening or watching who may have just joined us, give out the details for this event one more time.
Yeah, Winter Solstice Celebration at West Bloomfield Parks. It's on our Civic Center trails on December 19th. It's pre-registered with time slots so that everyone has a little bit of a private time on the trail, not super crowded. So pick your time slot between 5 and 7 p.m. and you can register at wbparks.org. And lots of great activities. Telescope viewing with the Oakland Astronomy Club is always magical to see the night sky in a special way. The library will be there providing a fun game and activity, as well as the glowing trail and a glowing craft. And of course, the warm-up fires and s'mores. Can't go wrong with that.
Oh, that just makes it all come together right there. Thank you so much for even putting this together for our community. We truly appreciate that. Once again, join us right here live on The Splash, Parks Naturalist Supervisor from West Bloomfield Parks, Lauren Azori. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We hope to see you at the solstice.
Absolutely. Bundled up too, by the way, staying warm and enjoying all the activities WB Parks has going on. For more information regarding that, go to the website, wbparks.org, or of course you can visit them on their Facebook page as well, WB Parks on Facebook for more information. The holidays are here, and as the decorations go up, the most important part, I would believe, is probably picking that perfect tree. I recently spoke to a local resident and vendor right here in the greater West Bloomfield area about taking the family out on the search to find that perfect tree and how you can find one right here in the heart of our community.
It's a family tradition. We've been doing it in my house ever since I was a little kid. I grew up with a family of 10 kids in the family, and it's something that we did every year. You get the smell, you get to decorate it, and it just kicks off the season.
On the business side, we asked about harvesting Michigan trees and choosing to sell them locally in Orchard Lake.
We're keeping it close. We're right up in Sheboygan. All the trees come down here. We're keeping it local, not to mention it's a little easier and it's a much nicer product for our customers. It's the freshest tree you're going to find.
While choosing and putting up a tree can be a great family tradition, what makes a real Michigan tree better than an artificial tree?
Well, I tell you what, we don't like to use the A word here. So, real trees, you're going to get that fragrance. They're beautiful. It's an amazing tree. You're not going to beat it. You're going to get a different color every year. It's always going to be a different type of tree every year. Artificial, it's going to be the same thing over and over and over again. There's no special thing about it. Not to mention you get to bring your family out here and have a great time. Great family atmosphere. You bring the little kids. We even got little coloring books for them.
Look for needles that will stay. Look for the smell. And so the balsam and the Fraser fir, so there's a mix of those where you get the smell of the balsam and you get the needles that'll stay from the Fraser fir.
Nothing says authentic holiday like a nice tree farm. And all of that is right on the corner of Orchard Lake and Commerce on the campus of Orchard Lake St. Mary's. For more on that particular tree shop, you can also watch my full interview with Dan Triben on demand on civiccentertv.com. And let us know on social media what you look for when you're searching for a perfect tree. Everyone's taste is a little bit different, by the way. With that being said, cooler temperatures are in the forecast, meaning we're going to be turning up the heat in our homes a lot more often and also using other devices to stay warm in our homes. But that could also pose some new hazards that could cause some house fires and other damages like what we talked about earlier today. So here to give us some tips on how we can stay warm safely this winter is from the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department. We have West Bloomfield Fire Captain Tim Tarak. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we appreciate that. So kind of just going straight into it, can you just explain some of the biggest hazards that can come along with just heating up our home in the various ways during the winter and colder months?
Well, one of the big ones we already had it recently happen. When you fire up the furnace for the first time of the year, quite often dust settles on the heating coil, and when that furnace first kicks on, that dust burns up and you get a smell of burning in your home. So be aware that the first couple times you fire up the furnace, you might have that smell that is easy to mistake for a problem. And it's quite normal. Just keep an eye on it. It should dissipate shortly after having it on. So that's probably the biggest one as far as the furnace goes. Yeah. Also, it's a good idea to have a licensed contractor come out and do a cleaning on your furnace before that season comes. Just to give it a once over and check everything's working. There's no cracks in the flue and whatnot. That's the biggest one for furnace wise. There's a few other, open flames, candles, this time of year with, if you have your menorah going, it's great to have, they have LED candle versions of those now. And for Christmas trees too, when you have those going, make sure you have them watered and use LED lights because they cause less heat, all that kind of stuff.
You brought up a good point with the candles. Didn't think about that. Yes, lighting the home with candles. A lot of people like to have seasonal candles during this time, so I can see that also. But having a contractor come out and look at your furnace, that's a new one. I haven't necessarily thought of that, but I'm glad we have that information from someone who's seen it all in many different situations. So we spoke on the furnace. I mean, there's many different ways that people can heat their homes in many different places. What are some of the biggest places in the home that can become hazards from your experience?
A big one is if you have space heaters, not have combustibles around the space heaters. And they should have, a lot of the new ones have a feature where if you kick it or knock it over, when it becomes no longer upright, there's quite often a switch at the bottom that will kick, that'll turn the unit off. If you have an older one that doesn't have that, I recommend upgrading to one of the newer ones that I believe they're standard on all of them now, that if they get jostled, they get turned off. Because we've had fires before start where somebody knocks it over into a pile of rags or some papers, because quite often people have them under their desk. And if they have a home office or even at a place of business, and they'll kick it into a waste paper basket, and it causes a small fire under there, which can lead to bigger issues.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a few different things to be aware of that we're highlighting right now. And with us right here live on The Splash, West Bloomfield Fire Department Fire Captain Tim Tarak, just talking about safety in the homes as we prepare for those colder and winter months right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. So we know that people are also cooking a lot more during these times, especially as we approach Thanksgiving and other holidays. You just talk about fire safety and situations that are situated around cooking and the stove and things of that nature.
Sure. So everyone thinks fire, put water on it, right? I think in recent years it's gotten out pretty well that for a cooking fire, especially a grease fire, water is the biggest thing you don't want to do, because when water hits superheated grease, the whole thing blows up into a giant fireball. And you can go online and see dramatic videos of it at our open houses, which we just had last month, earlier in the month for Fire Prevention Week. We used to do a demonstration where we show putting water on superheated grease on a stove outside. We had a stove wired up that was able to show that, and just a massive fireball. So never put water on a cooking fire. The best way, the easiest one that you have right there with you in the kitchen probably is a cover for that pot. So the key is smother the fires. Don't put water on them. So you have a grease fire if you're making your gravy for your turkey and you're heating up that grease and it flares up, cover that pot. There are also some commercially available things. One's called the Prepare to Hero. I've seen lots of videos online about that. For your grill or your kitchen, it's a fire blanket that smothers the flame. So
Yeah,
the key,
I've heard of those.
fires take away the oxygen, which extinguishes the fire. Instead, don't put water on it because that is a giant mess.
Seems like a great investment for the households all around, especially with that being said. Keeping that right next or near the stove or in the kitchen area for those types of situations. Thank you for highlighting that, because
they come in a small package and you can get them on Amazon. That's the brand I've heard of is called Prepared Hero, and they're a very nice product.
There we go. There we go. Coming from the professional himself. We love to hear that. I want to pick your brain about something else that we don't necessarily talk about. We highlight smoke detectors all the time. Make sure you update them at least every 10 years. Batteries, make sure they're working. Test them out. What about carbon monoxide and carbon monoxide detectors? Are they a danger around this time? And can you just talk about how we could actually prepare for those also?
Yeah, carbon monoxide isn't so much a seasonal thing, but it's an all-the-time thing. Some levels of carbon monoxide, the levels we go by, it's measured in parts per million, which is a measurement of a lot of common components of the air are measured in parts per million. So carbon monoxide is one that we're around it all the time. We can be exposed to small amounts. Up to 9 parts per million is considered safe and normal. So I just actually got 2 new CO detectors for my home, CO being carbon monoxide, from Amazon because mine were 10 years old and at their end of life. So one thing is to watch that end of life, and on the back of every detector, whether it be smoke or carbon monoxide, in the very small print, if you read that small print, it'll say, dispose of 7 years out from first going in service, or 10 years out. Some are 10, some are 7, or some variation thereof. But so watch those expiration dates. And also, I recommend having a carbon monoxide detector that has a reading on it that gives you a parts per million. Now, it may not be 100% accurate, but at least it's a number to go by.
Right.
And then you can see it. It can beep. They'll all alert you audibly. And if they give you a reading too, you can kind of know what amount it's picking up. Certainly call us. We'll come check it out and see if there's a bigger issue. Another thing to think about with CO detectors, if I have another minute, is for generators, right? For this time of year or any time of year when it's stormy and windy. If we lose power, generators are great. I have one at my home. Everyone knows to have them outside, certainly, because you've got to watch for that. The exhaust puts out carbon monoxide. So I had a call, a couple years ago, where a gentleman did everything right. He had it outside of his home running in a storm, and he had a lot of CO in his house, and his alarms were going off. Thankfully, he had alarms, and they called us, and I said, hey, this is weird. It's outside. And then I noticed a basement window near where he had the generator going, and the basement window was cracked with letting in some air. He didn't think of it, and that was just happened to be near the exhaust. So when you place those those generators, look for open basement windows. Look for any points where air can get in the house, because if it can get in, it will, and it is a danger.
Ooh, that was a great thank you for providing that story and that example, because that's one of those small things, like you said, you may not pay attention to, but it could lead up to danger. So generators as well, something that could be a danger to the home, but make sure you're taking your extra precautions there. With us right here live on The Splash, talking about safety in and around the home as we prepare for those winter and cold months, from the West Bloomfield Fire Department, Fire Captain Tim Torok. Just a couple more questions real quick, Captain, if you have the time. First and foremost, just very briefly, are there any other things in or around the home that could be flammable that people may not even know about?
Boy. Well, over the years, everything we have is more flammable than it used to be. You know, the blanket that you have at night just to be comfortable and snuggle up on your couch is made of, you know, polyester and flammable materials. So everything heats up faster than it used to. The couch is burned now. We call it legacy construction. In this business, we call it legacy construction versus modern construction. So the average home, there are videos online, and you can see those too, but there are videos online that show a cigarette dropped into a couch in 1972 takes 5 minutes to get a full living room going in full flame. And that same cigarette dropped into today's couch with today's furnishings and today's draperies and today's carpet can get that entire room in a raging inferno in 2 minutes.
Ooh.
So it's really crazy how just the components of your house are much more flammable than they used to be because things are cheaper and more readily produced. If they're not cotton, you know, now they're all synthetics. So just keep any heating source that you have, keep those combustibles, give them a distance, let everything breathe, let things air out. If you smell a weird smell, air things out. And if you need to call us, and we're happy to come check things out.
We appreciate that. Lastly, last question before we let you go. Just a couple quick things that we can do to prepare now for family emergencies.
You know, it's great to have a plan. You know, we stress whenever we have families come through or students come through on a tour, hey, go home and, you know, tell your parents, check those detectors twice a year. When you change your clocks, change your batteries, or at least check your batteries. In recent years, detectors are smoke detectors and CO detectors are going with lithium batteries that have a 10-year life. So you're not really changing batteries so much, but it's certainly a good idea to keep an eye on those and check those dates. When were they purchased? When did they go in service? And are we at those expiration end of life dates?
Yeah.
And also, God forbid you have an issue in the home, let's plan where we're going to be so that if you have a fire or a fire alarm and little Timmy runs to the backyard and Johnny goes to the street, and the parents go to the street, we're not looking, hey, we're missing one. So make sure all the kids, hey family, if we're going to have an issue, let's all meet in this place so we know we're all here. And you know, and then when we get there, we know quite often the front of the house is a great spot. So then the first thing we say, hey, is everybody out of the house? And then, you know, we can have a quick answer to that very important question.
Hey, we appreciate all the information that you provided today, and we appreciate your time. Once again, from West Bloomfield Fire Department, Fire Captain Tim Tarot, thank you so much for your time and information, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Take care.
Very important tips to keep in mind as we are getting into the colder days of the year, especially if you are using a space heater like myself. Please make sure you're keeping it away from dangerous items as well. Find out more about tips, fire tips, and other things around the holiday on our website, civiccentertv.com, for more information. We're going to talk about charitable activities coming up in the greater West Bloomfield area that you may want to be a part of. We are live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
What people are watching in West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh, talking about United We Walk, which was established in 1995 to annually celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, emphasizing diversity, unity, and the inherent worth of every person. More importantly, what is United We Walk and how can the community get involved? With us right here live on The Splash from United We Walk, we have co-chairs Sonia James and Jonathan Warshay. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us, Kevin.
Yes, so I want to immediately get into it, just pretty much like I just explained. We want to ask, what is United We Walk? Essentially starting off with you, Sonia, what is United We Walk as an organization or an event?
Well, United We Walk as an organization started years ago. And honestly, Jonathan, I think, has been co-chair for a number of years, along with our former co-chair, Jennifer Graham. Jonathan, how long were you co-chair?
I'd say probably about 3 or 4 years now.
Great. And he probably has more experience with, from the co-chair's perspective. So I'm going to let Jonathan answer that first, and then I'll chime in. Is that okay, Jonathan?
That's great. So,
okay, great.
I think the biggest thing is, it's part of the school district, getting the students involved, and then that way we get the parents and the rest of the community involved as well in terms of furthering Dr. King's legacy. I'd say that's the biggest thing with our organization. And then it started with the walk that had been around the high school, and then we've just sort of added other activities and events with it.
Okay.
Great. And one of the big things and the purpose behind United We Walk is a time for the community to come together and to celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Mm-hmm. And as a school community, and not just the school community, as a West Bloomfield community, incorporating the schools and citizens of West Bloomfield, it's time for us to reflect, to celebrate, and to also think about how his work continues and what do we do as a community to acknowledge and honor his legacy.
There you go. I love that. I love that. So yes. Let's dive a little bit more into it. A little bit more. Jonathan, going back to you, how has the United We Walk evolved to meet the changing needs and values of the greater West Bloomfield community, especially since being established in 1995 BC before Corona?
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
So, originally it was more of the walk and a program. So people were not necessarily active participants. We've added service projects that are not only on that day, but also year round to make especially the students active participants in furthering Dr. King's legacy. So I'd say that's probably the biggest change since the begingging.
Okay.
Because that day is a focus on a day of service, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what a big part of Dr. King's legacy, that service piece. And it has evolved into those community service projects. And opportunities for our students, our families, and the community to be a part of those different projects that we have going on for United We Walk.
Perfect, perfect. And just to reset the show again, with us right here live on the Splash from United We Walk, we have co-chairs Sonia James and Jonathan Warshay talking about the event, the details of it, and what we can expect. Now, Sonia, going back to you, there's a theme for the 2025 event, United We Walk, continuing the dream, building bridges of unity. Seems very, very impactful. With that being said, how do you feel like this thing resonates or will resonate with both the challenges and the opportunities faced by the greater West Bloomfield community?
You know, one of the big things about West Bloomfield as a community, we truly are a community because as Executive Director of Educational Equity for the district, I'm also part of different organizations or different groups. And one of the things with regards to United We Walk, and I think about the work that the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreations are doing with their, oh gosh, why am I, their diversity task force, right? The work that that's being done in different segments of the community, it helps bridge us together as a community. It recognizes that we as a West Bloomfield community, we are diverse. It recognizes that we as a West Bloomfield community have people from different walks of life, be it ethnically, be it socioeconomic, and then as a community, how we come together, united. I think about like Juneteenth, how the community came together for that. I think about just the work that is put into recognizing and honoring each and every individual in West Bloomfield, in each and every religion, each and every background. So it doesn't matter what walk of life that you come from. When you come to West Bloomfield, you will see people of diverse backgrounds and different groups. And you will see a coming together of that and a seeking to understand who we are. So that theme in terms of building bridges of unity is something I think that we are doing a pretty good job of as a community. Are we perfect? No. Is it a work in progress? It is. Because on that day, if you look at who's a part of our membership, a part of our committee, it is a diverse group of different people from different walks of life that are helping put together the United We Walk. So it's not just Jonathan and I. It's Jonathan, it's I, it's other community members, it's social organizations, it's our fraternities, our sororities. It is everyone coming together on this day to build that bridge because we know that there is a lot of work to do, and we know that there are things that we have accomplished, and there's so much more. And when I look at all the opportunities and possibilities, it's us continuing to come together to do this work hand in hand.
Perfect, perfect. And I love how you use the example of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force and everything that they're doing within the community to kind of tie it together and say that that's an example of us building bridges of unity right here within the community. So thank you for that response and that context also, Sonia. Jonathan, with you, I want to kind of incorporate or talk about the fact that there are student co-chairs of United We Walk. With that being said, how do you incorporate the voices and the leadership of the students in planning and executing this event?
So the student co-chairs are full members of the committee, so they have as much voice as any of the adults, and they do take the lead with several of the activities and run with it. I've always been inspired about how really involved that they want to get, how meaningful it is to them. Excuse me. So they're really a vital part of our committee, and they're really an inspiration to us all.
And with that being said, just adding on to that, Jonathan, what role do you see service projects and children's activities playing in fostering a sense of unity and engagement during this specific event?
So we have so the student volunteers as well as adult volunteers work with the children on whether it's reading to them or on the service projects themselves. So everyone is together, working together for really a common cause that's service to others. And I think that just sort of builds a wonderful spirit around the entire event.
I would like to say so myself. Anytime we talk to business leaders, owners, authorities within Greater West Bloomfield, more than likely, if they're doing something, they have other organizations, other people involved, and we love to see that people coming together to accomplish great things for our community. With that being said, joining us right here live on The Splash, United We Walk co-chair members Sonia James and Jonathan Warshay talking about the United We Walk 2025 event coming up. Now, just a few more questions before I let you go. Sonia, with you, in what ways do you see United We Walk extending Dr. King's dream beyond the event itself into everyday life in West Bloomfield?
You know, that's where I talk about those possibilities, those opportunities, with regards to not just it being an event for January 19th, but thinking about how as a community that we continue to live out the life and the legacy in our works and our deeds and in our actions. Again, it's those different organizations within West Bloomfield, as well as working with United We Walk, to really think about what does it look like every day of the year, right? And it's some of the continuous event that we do as a community. Like I mentioned, Juneteenth, that's one of the events. There's several different events that happen throughout the year that also encompasses that life and the legacy. I want to go back to something that you asked Jonathan about with regards to the student co-chairs. I'll be meeting with them later on today. But one of the things that like the student co-chairs will be doing is on January 9th and 10th, they are organizing for our student co-chairs, are organizing for high school students to go down to the elementary buildings to read to the elementary students.
Oh, okay.
And again, it's taking it a step deeper in terms of understanding the purpose and the why behind we celebrate United We Walk and the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights activists that have contributed to his dream, his life, and the fulfillment of that, and how we have gotten to where we are now, and how do we as a school community live out those important values, right? And in terms of peace, in terms of acceptance and inclusivity of others, and all of those things. So they are working to build that with regards to a busload of students going to a building at a time and reading to the entire building at the same time. So every student, say right now I'm sitting at Scotch Elementary, every student on January 9th will hear the same story read by a high school student at the same time. So building wide, they're all going to be engaged in that story.
Nice.
And the same will happen at Gretschko, the same will happen at Doherty, the same will happen at Chico. And this is student-led. And then we have Voice of Equality. And that's a student-led group from the high school as well that will go in and engage later on after United We Walk, and you talk about that extension, and they will go in and work with different projects with the students. So again, our student leadership also being actively involved in this and them leading the charge. Sometimes, as adults, we have to move out of their way, right? And let the students lead. And this is a way that we let the students lead and we move out of their way. And again, this is how we are expanding, the reach and taking it a little deeper.
Yeah, I like that. See, and I love that you brought that full circle because for one, you as an adult, you and Jonathan as adult leaders, you're setting that example for the high schoolers. The high schoolers are feeling like, hey, let's go beyond and extend beyond, like we said, beyond Dr. King's dream, and set that example for the elementary, the next generation. And then we will hope that will continue to trickle down. So I love that you gave us that information and painted that picture for us. We have to let you go. We appreciate both of you for being here, but real quick before we go, Jonathan, the details of the United We Walk 2025 event again and how people can get involved.
So first of all, easy way is just to show up and participate in the walk and the project. But certainly we're happy to accept donations. There'll be people there who might want a snack or water. We're always getting those from various places. We'll also accept cash donations as well to help us further our work, our projects that our folks folks participate in. So, and we can get you that information so you can share it with the viewers.
Perfect. Thank you again. Once again, United We Walk, Sunday, January 19th, West Bloomfield Middle School on Orchard Lake in West Bloomfield. And from United We Walk, co-chair members Sonia James, Jonathan Warshay, we appreciate your time and information.
Thank you.
For having
We
us.
appreciate you as well. We hope to see everyone come out. It's not just for the kids, it's for the entire community. It's going to be a great family event.
Thank you again. Thank you. And we
All
are
right.
proud to promote that right here on Civic Center TV, giving out that detail and information right here to our greater West Bloomfield community. Now, as we continue to highlight our greater West Bloomfield community and those who are doing great things in it, Darren McAllister was recently named the Michigan High School Coaches Association Girls Basketball Coach of the Year. The award was presented on November 17th at the Great Hall Banquet and Convention Center in Midland during the MHSCA State Awards Luncheon. With us right here live on The Splash is the West Bloomfield High School Girls Basketball Coach of the Year, Coach Darren McAllister. Thank you for being here, Coach.
Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, congratulations on being named Michigan High School Coaches Association Girls Basketball Coach of the Year. I just got to get it from you first and foremost. What does it feel, or what does it mean to you personally and professionally to get this recognition?
To be honest with you, I'm greatly honored. Definitely appreciate it. But I guess for me, I'm constantly in go mode. It's the beginning of the season, so that's where my mind's at. I guess when I'm done and I'm sitting back and I'm reflecting, that's when I can really have a greater appreciation. But to be honored by the Michigan High School Coaches Association, it's one of the top honors that I can possibly have, and I greatly appreciate it.
That's real. And I can respect that response too. Essentially, you're so trapped into the process and your system and continuously achieving great things. You're like, I appreciate that, thank you, but we still got more work to do. There's still a journey to be taken. So I understand and respect that. The success of your leadership under your team over the past 3 years has been incredible. What has been the key to sustaining this level of excellence within the system that you create?
Well, it all starts up top. I mean, we have a wonderful, wonderful superintendent who's very supportive of the program. She's one of our biggest fans. And then we have an excellent, excellent athletic director, Eric Pierce. He gives us all the resources that we need to be successful. And then I'll go on record again saying I have the best coaching staff in the state of Michigan. And you tie all that together with some players that give you their desire, determination, and their desire to be great. I mean, what else can you get other than a couple state championships and a runner-up?
Yeah, I understand that. If you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com, you can see some of the B-roll that we played of the West Bloomfield High School girls basketball team at the state championship at the Breslin Center, East Lansing. I was there. I witnessed that firsthand. It was a great experience. But then some of the all-stars, the Davis twins, who were key during that championship, now playing D1 basketball at Georgia. Can you just talk about how it feels for them to be excelling at the next level of basketball in their career?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I mean, when I I'm a fan from afar, watching the Davis twins and the success that they're having, watching Kendall Hendricks do her thing at Loyola Chicago, and then watching Destiny Washington do her thing from an academic perspective at Ohio State. It's sort of like, that big father is just sitting back watching his children succeed. And man, it's a great feeling, Kevin. It really is.
So kind of just piggybacking off of that real quick, how do you kind of use all of their success going on to the next level to encourage and motivate your current team?
Well, the reality of it is I don't have to do a lot of that. I think they had an opportunity to see, and that's the great part about having an organization that, like we have at West Bloomfield, from day one, we hit the ground running with a desire to win a state championship, and we've done it. And the players after that have watched the players before them go on to win. So it's not a lot on me. It's just sitting back observing and coming in the gym and putting in the work.
Good point. Good point. Love that. And with us right here, live on The Splash, joining us from West Bloomfield High School, Lakers girls varsity basketball head coach Darren McAllister, talking about being named the Michigan High School Coaches Association Girls Basketball Coach of the Year. Well deserved, by the way. I want to speak on, like, your clearly your system that you're creating is creating all-stars on the court, but let's go to off the court. How are you ensuring that your players not only excel on the court, but grow as leaders and role models in the community off the court?
Well, that goes back to the aforementioned people that I mentioned, our athletic director, our superintendent, and our coach. And I'm blessed with having one of the assistant coaches as an assistant principal. So we're able to make sure that the kids are doing what they're supposed to do on and off the court, mainly in the classroom. I think I pride ourselves on is we have one of the top academic teams in the state of Michigan since we've been there. And that starts with our coaching staff and athletic director. And then we try to do things in the community as far as community service. And I think that really bring out the community when we make that run and go to the President Center. So it all ties in together. But I will say, that's not something that I just, lucky and found. That was something that I was taught when I was coaching at Wayne State University under the great coach, Kerry Laura.
There you go. There you go. Love that. Paying your respects also. But kind of, let's go back to what you were saying. You and your assistant coaches making sure that your team and those girls get out there and do different types of community service. So they give back to the community. So in return, the community is giving back to the team. Talk about how important it is or the role that the Greater West Bloomfield community plays in supporting the girls' Lakers basketball program.
Well, I tell you, Kevin, one of the things that we saw in year one, playing at the Breslin Center and playing against Rockford in the state championship, it was orange that was filling up 3/4 of that gym. And we said at that time, we're not going to let that happen again. We're going to make sure that we have our fans out there and our supporters out there. Now, we did we ended up winning the state championship, but that was just fuel for the fire. And this past year, we had the mantra of big game hunting, and it was amazing to look in the stands and see people wearing camouflage that I never would have thought it would have touched. So, it's a great feeling, and it all comes back to just the community buying in for one, us giving to the community, and it reciprocates.
Love that, man. With us right here on The Splash, head coach of the West Bloomfield girls varsity basketball team, Darren McAllister, talking about being named the Michigan High School Coaches Association Girls Basketball Coach of the Year, and just talking about their team currently. Now, from your perspective, I just want to kind of pick your brain on this. How do you manage and balance the pressure of not only, you set the bar to win championships now, Coach. How are you balancing the pressure of winning these championships with the responsibility of making sure you still have these well-rounded student athletes?
That's a great question, and I'll answer it like this. It's no pressure. Pressure is that mom, as single mom, having to make ends meet when she don't really have any help. Pressure is that person being diagnosed with a sickness they can't do anything about, and it's possibly going to cost them their lives. That's pressure. This is basketball, but the key to it of not being able to have that pressure around me is surrounding yourself with people that's going to help you accomplish your goal. And it starts with my assistant coaches, Talisha Washington, Jamie Glens, my athletic director, the superintendent, and also I'd like to mention my beautiful wife, who's standing by my side all the time and gives me the opportunity to go out there and accomplish my dreams.
There you go. There you go. That just goes to show that it's a community. It's a wheelhouse of people that help support you, that also helps to support the team and the girls. We appreciate your time being here, Coach. I want to thank you again. Can you give us a little preview of what we can expect in the next season going forward?
I absolutely will. I tell you this, it's a lot of people that's counting us out, but those people that's counting us out can't count. I tell you this, people say we had talent. Absolutely, we had talent. And if you want a chicken salad, you better have some chicken. But people don't know we got some chickens over there. So we're in the kitchen. We cook it up, son. So just come on out there and check us out. You'll see.
Coach hitting us with the analogies. I love it. I love it. Pure entertainment. But, hey, we appreciate your success, and thank you again for your time. And once again, with us right here live on The Splash, head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers girls varsity basketball team, Darren McAllister. We appreciate you for being here.
I got you on the ticket list. We'll see you there.
Still one of the best experiences I've had in local sports history, seeing the Davis Twins and the Lakers win that championship in 2024. Congratulations again to Coach McAllister there. Now, earlier this week was Giving Tuesday, and there was a lot of charitable action going on. But yesterday, Scotch Elementary School in West Bloomfield made a big impact by delivering donations from their recent food drive to Spirit of Grace Church. These contributions will support the church's diabetic food pantry and their blessing box, providing much-needed, non-perishable food items like peanut butter, canned vegetables, soups, and pasta. The church serves local families, especially those in need, managing diabetes with nutritious options and events like what they have been doing with the Blessing Box and the Diabetic Food Pantry to highlight the power of community support. They hope to see more food drives from local organizations and schools to support them in the future. If you'd like to contribute, go directly to their website, spiritofgrace.church, or stop by their location at 2399 Figure Avenue. Every donation helps a family in need, and we appreciate that. With that being said, we appreciate you for watching and listening right here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. It's been fun. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh, and per usual, we are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.